Marilyn is a registered nurse, a wellness coach, and an author. Marilyn will be launching her book, When the Answer is No, Finding Purpose Through Pain, in January 2023. The journey takes you through her experience of grief and healing through purposed living. Marilyn's mission is inspiring hope. Please welcome to the stage our next storyteller, Marilyn
I'm meant to be.
Morales.
This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I remember the day that I left home and didn't say goodbye to my family. It was an important day. It was my 7th wedding anniversary. My husband was off, and he had been trying to convince me all morning to stay home with him. But I had started a new job, and I wasn't going to be that person to call out, right? So I told him, no worries. As soon as I get home, we will celebrate as a family. That day was also very important to many Americans. That day was September 11th, 2001. I was a public health nurse working near the World Trade Center. That morning, I was getting my then 3-year-old daughter ready for preschool. I had a 9-month-old son that I was getting ready to take to my mother, who would be taking care of him while I worked. So I was really, really busy. I took my 9-month-old to the top floor apartment. My parents and I shared a 2-family home in Brooklyn. So I gathered him up. I took him up to my mom with full intentions of returning to say goodbye to the both of them. But I had to finish getting ready. So I went back downstairs, finished getting my daughter ready, gathered my own things, said goodbye to my husband and my daughter. And as I walked from my apartment and stopped in front of the door of my mother's apartment, I could hear my son and my mother laughing with one another. So happy. And every time I left home for work, my son would cry. And this day, I didn't want him to cry. So I made a decision that I would leave without saying goodbye. And I got in my car and left for my day. That decision would later haunt me. As I got in my car and I drove away, it was an unusually warm day in September. And I remember how clear and blue the sky was. As you can see, my favorite color is blue. So it stood out to me that day. Wow, how blue. And I remember as I crossed the Williamsburg Bridge from Brooklyn into Manhattan, admiring it as I arrived to work. Well, that day, many Americans got to their job at the World Trade Center, never knowing that they would never return. Many probably didn't even talk to their families that morning. I understand some of them even had arguments with their loved ones before they left, never thinking, I'm not coming home. I remember getting a phone call soon after the airplane hit the second tower. It was a coworker. And on the phone, she says, Marilyn, they're jumping. Who? I said back, who is jumping? She said, the people. They're jumping. And hung up the phone. So I ran outside to see what was happening. As I looked up, I saw the fire coming from the towers, people running for their lives. There were 4 young women running my way. And because I had a stethoscope that identified me as a nurse, they grabbed onto me, petrified. They said to me, we don't know where we're going. They told us to run. and we don't know where to run to. We're looking for a train to get us out of here. But my mom instincts kicked in right away. And I said, no, come with me. I took them inside because I couldn't. There were things that I saw that day that I could never unsee. I took these 4 young ladies inside with me. I washed them up because they had debris all over them. One of the towers had already fallen. I washed them up. I talked to them and I said, I have the last working phone in this building. Call your mothers. Let them know that you're alive. Let them know that you're well. As they finished their phone calls, I took them back outside. I led them on their way and I told them, don't alter from what I am telling you. You go straight. Don't go anywhere else. You'll find that train. One thought kept going through my mind. I never said goodbye to my mother. I never said goodbye to my son. I made it home that night. But from that day to this day, I make it a point to be intentional. Say hello, say goodbye, be present. Always. Living a life with intent and presence are the keys to a fulfilled life. Tomorrow is not promised. Live each day as if it were your last. I'm Marilyn Morales.